If I understood the numbers
20
right.
solar farm, ma'am?
If I understood the numbers right, that's what I gave y'all.
Oh, okay.
30 years.
Let's see, 15, 20.
Do you have an extra one? I just did there because I was on the first. Is that how you understood it?
I think so.
We just talked about the road use deal. I'm sorry, I thought we were going.
1 minute. 245. I think so, yeah. All right, we're going to number 20, solar farms. Then a little discussion still about the pilot program. Are we gonna come back and discuss that maybe next week or something? You were gonna get the fellow you talked to talk to Mike Dixon and see how
Yes,
we can
I
proceed.
spoke with Evan with Varsity Solar this morning. He's the one that he got this agreement which follows the guidelines of the 312 for counties and for abatement. And then we have a new one that just showed up today from the Tawakoni Creek Solar Bunch.
Are they close to being assigned?
This one has been sent, Beth, when did he say he sent this? March, February, March? The one we did, we
Said he
talked.
sent it March 10th, but I never saw it, it didn't come to my email. And so he sent it to the judge and Brian,
With the Walton Creek we came to.
the Tawakoni Creek, the one that I just gave you.
We have a check in there that they sent also.
That was back in February. I have that check in, but this is something a little bit different.
This is all a road use agreement until you get to page 12, I guess. Put a number on there, page 11. This is two agreements from Tawakoni.
Yeah, one's road use
One-
deal,
one
and
road.
one's abatement, one's road use. Yeah, he also said he'd sent one of these copies to Brian Evans.
Well, Dan has left us. Dan and I have talked a little bit about that pilot deal. We'll be sure. Do you want to have a special meeting to talk about this next week? Or are we going to just wait till our next regular meeting?
We need to
We
pull
need
the
to know
trigger.
something.
We need to pull the trigger on this.
Something.
Sir?
We need to go and pull the trigger on this to get this decided, so these people will know
Okay.
where we are. One agreement for all.
What you were talking about with Dan though is that, as far as the tax code versus the pilot program. The pilot. The way he explained it to me this morning is that if we do a 100% abatement, you kind of gotta go back to what their proposed tax burden would be.
Right.
So if it was over 10 years' time, if it was $10 million, then the question is, if we did a pilot program, instead of getting that money in a big chunk up front, and then the depreciation kicking in, and it,
Right, we get five.
right. if we
We're
got
the same
five,
amount for 10 years.
Right.
And
and then the
Then
question
you're gonna
is
tax it.
is that worthy of a discount? To do the pilot, you're already given 100% abatement, so you can't use the term abatement.
But you get the same amount for 10 years, then it goes on the tax roll.
But if you don't get one, why would they even agree to that? I mean, unless they, you know.
That's what I mean, it has some value. I do think the pilot has value to us from a tax perspective. I think it'd be a smart thing to do, and I think that we can see that other counties have done it. And seemed to be having, me and Andy was reading an article this morning, there's in the county magazine as far as, you know, it's benefiting other counties.
Yeah,
Cook County and Kaufman County.
it was on a solar farm and a wind farm. Cook County was a wind farm.
Both companies did the 100% abatement through the 312, and then did a pilot, which is a contract. one thing that we had talked about was if there was a default, okay, if they quit
Yeah.
paying, if they shut their plant down,
Well,
what recourse do we have? If it was on the tax roll, then we could levy on those assets. If the contract is written correctly, then we should be able to levy on assets as well. I don't think it changes anything. And according to Evan Horn, it doesn't change anything. The contract's just gotta be written right. So I think the question is, before we can make a definitive answer, do we wanna have an attorney look at these two contracts and advise us on if they're good for the county?
I think it'd be smart to do that.
Mike
I'm
did
like
say-
Andy, I wanna get this done. I know that those people need to know if we're gonna cut them any slack or not, but we still gotta cover our bases first.
So this Walking Creek kind of broke it down in a 10-year deal that we would get $307,500 per year for 10 years
That's based on a 70%.
abatement. But we don't have to give them 70%. We can always go down to,
And that's what, 500 megawatts.
And our rate, our low rate,
There's already.
Yeah, we've already
they're already getting a pretty good rate compared to surrounding counties.
and I'm not saying, I mean, that's with the, I mean, we could go down to say 20%.
Yeah, that Kaufman County deal was 535 megawatt, and with their pilot program, they were getting, 700,
some, they're the largest.
$798,000 a year, I
Yeah.
think, for 10 years.
Okay, this talks about,
And what was their,
About maybe-
what percentage did they give? They give them 100?
It doesn't say, but just looking at the size of that versus the size of that, they're very comparable.
Mhm.
And if that's a 70% abatement, then that means that the full deal would have been right at $10 million over 10 years.
Right. So, I mean, I don't think we should get, we
No,
said
that's-
Let's do it
way
the hard
too
way.
much.
Let's do it the hard way. That's what I've been doing.
I mean, we could just, if we could just come up with a rate that y'all could, we could come up with, that we could live with 20,
and, okay,
25.
I think the big consideration is, I haven't looked at this yet, but a big consideration is if, and it may say that in here, I don't know, but if there is a default, they say there's a large decrease in value after the first year or two on those solar farms. So if we did the regular taxing plan, we would get a large number the first year and much less the next year.
Yeah, 'cause it-
Whereas if we do a pilot and they default, they would have paid us 1/10 the first year.
Right.
And then if they default in the second year, we will have lost
yeah,
all the rest of that money.
right.
So that would be something we need to address in this.
We have a bunch of solar panels to put
And
on.
we have most of solar panels put up on top of it.
Might put them all over the yard.
There you go. So I think we need to get somebody, I don't want to ask Brian to do it because it's such a specialized thing, and he would have, it would be too much for him to have research and work on. And so who do we want to get to look at it if we're going to do it? Mike Dixon is
F.
the-
Parker Brown, San Antonio, author of those law firm.
Yeah.
He's the guru.
And he's several months
He
behind.
represents the landowners.
Yeah,
He
I give
represents
his,
the landowners.
I know.
I give his
Maybe somebody
number.
represents us too.
Right.
But he could on the other
He's the
side.
best versed in the solar deal.
Maybe if he couldn't do it, he could give us a name of somebody that
Maybe
could.
so.
Well, I know Mike Dixon's firm in Waco, who works with us a lot, that they have done a lot of
There's
this
also
already.
a guy in Abilene,
Well, y'all can pick who.
The one in Sweetwater that,
yeah, Sweetwater's what I'm thinking about. But he's more of the wind. I don't know how.
he's in the solar, and he represented the landowner on the Nevada County
But I know
project.
one of my landowners uses him all the time on stuff. I hate to call his name, but he's tied with.
Well, the Bear County, I think
Tom.
he gave it a bait, but for one of them didn't get one for the other.
Tom Johnson, you change?
Yeah, that's how I got to
And
do
what's that gonna do with us? It's gonna be in the Bear, and the part of it in Frisco.
It's two different tax communities.
Yeah, I know, I mean, I'm just. And the storage of the batteries. where they store the batteries makes a difference too, and just right there on the line.
That was another call
And
I got.
this says in here,
10 acres of
We
batteries.
have 10 acres of batteries.
Yeah.
this says under remedies that if they default, we can cancel the recapture. All ad valorem taxes abated pursuant to the terms of the agreement. Which really probably all we could get would be the solar panels. Because it's an LLC and if they default, that's the only, maybe the only thing that's
Right.
in here, so we wouldn't be able to get anything else.
Did they decide which side of the county line that battery deal's gonna be on yet?
Not that I'm aware of,
If it happens?
yeah, I mean, I think they're waiting on us to make, see what we're gonna do, but
You have to see the
the battery thing is a big deal.
Yeah, I
That's
know.
all got the batteries and you do all the rest of it,
A
so.
lady called the other day
Okay, so
about
what else? Who do
a
you want to
battery
look at?
site, didn't have nothing to do with solar panels.
Yeah.
Just at a substation, there's 10 acres of batteries.
I can't, Haley
Another
Olson and all of
opportunity,
them,
you might say.
Do they, what farm?
Mike Dixon, Haley Olson. But it can do whoever y'all decide. He just does a lot of work for us in other areas and has. All right, we're saying 100% abatement, take the total tax revenue at the current tax rate, discount it.
Take the total divided by 10, or
Yeah,
discount it.
yeah. Discount it by,
So if we had the perfect contract right now, how much would you discount it, Commissioner Bonner?
What'd you say? Twenty?
With our rate, with our tax rate compared to, I mean, they're already getting by cheaper than other counties.
I mean, yeah.
So, I mean, 20, max 30, in my opinion. I mean, that's my
well, we
opinion.
can ask for 20.
I mean, I don't give the farm away. I mean, they're not bringing any jobs
That's right.
that you wanna,
Our tax rate here is a whole lot cheaper than it is right across the line, right, gonna be the other half of it.
yeah.
We maybe want to prorate that a little bit if we could. First 2 years, a certain amount, and then get a little more upfront.
It's by customizing the pilot, that's an option.
That's a good idea.
Get half of it up front, and then get payments for the next so many years. That way you be locked in and getting that.
Now, look at that chart, if they got a breakdown on there, I didn't got that, I didn't bring it. They had a breakdown on what their payments would be.
But that abatement, I mean, most of them is between $900 and $1 million a year.
And I had worked on one with a discount, and you could see where they benefit, and then we start benefiting at the end. Of course, it depreciates 80% the first 10 years,
Well, the first 5, didn't it?
A lot at the
8%
beginning.
the first
No,
5.
it's 10.
It's 10 overall.
I didn't bring mine.
This one here is the calculation of the annual
Oh, damn.
pilot. Owner will pay the county an annual pilot payment equal to the fixed amount, $615 per megawatt.
Yeah. That's $615.
That's 10. And it goes,
This is based on megawatts, projected megawatts.
This one here, they project this on 70% here.
For the illustration.
Based on
Annual
the rate
pilot
operation
payment,
too, when it kicked off.
yeah.
615 per megawatt capacity.
I read that. Is that on the, what's it? Okay, so that's the same language as in this one right here that we got.
So that's not taking the estimated tax
That's what I
rate.
mean, when I read that, I don't know why that's in there.
Let's see.
Because we had, one of the first meetings, we had a solar company, we asked, could we just get paid per megawatt? The theory being that if solar panel technology is good right now, and 10-by-10 solar panel can create X amount of electricity. Before that 10 years is up in depreciation, what if they have a solar panel that's the same footprint that does twice the amount of electricity? So now this company's making twice the amount of money, and they're still paying the same tax burden. So if you could do it based off of what they produce, but then we were told that the state of Texas, that we were not allowed to do that, that solar companies are different than like from oil and gas, where you get paid a percentage of.
That might have been on the school side though, because they were more regulated. I don't know, who asked? Okay, what else?
I guess the question is, do we want to come up with a number so that a company will know if they want to come to this county, how much break we're going to give them? Whether it's a discount on a pilot, or if it's a,
We could customize that pilot, like I say, get 50% of it up front. Lesser amount the rest of the year. Lesser amount for 9.
Sure.
Well,
You go 20.
About saying 20.
might be just like on a $10 million deal, it'd be 500. Or it'd be $5 million up front, and then they'd pay,
9 and 5.
9 and 5 million for the rest of the time.
yeah.
You can write it
I
down.
think that'd be hard to pull off.
What you gonna
Yeah,
have?
I think
That'd be hard to pull off.
with all the capital investment.
Yeah. That'd be hard to pull off.
25%.
Well, let's just see what they're really.
All right, would we want to determine what the requirements we will agree to are, and then they can provide us with a contract that we will take when it comes to review. Based on that, based on the 100% abatement, take the total tax revenue at the current tax rate for 10 years, discounted however much, discounted however much, and then divide that by 10, and that would be the payments. Unless we want to put in more at the beginning, 25%, we could ask for that.
That puts it, like, they were, with no abatement, it was 1.5 first year. And, if you did 25% with a 20% discount, that put it at 1.9 the first year, so that's maybe reachable. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
25% the first year.
Yeah, but, I mean, they're paying a premium up front, but that would, yeah, that'd be a 25% after you factor the discount out would be 1.9 as opposed to 1.5
Okay.
from the first year, the way I figured it.
Okay. Okay. And then our only question is if they can pay on megawatts or if it has to be on tax revenue. What you said might be better for us on the megawatt, if in fact that's the case. But,
if they do good, we do good,
I just-
if they don't, we don't. You know, I mean, that's a,
I guess we could take, when we know how much it is, see how much it would be on the tax and the megawatts that they're giving. Of course, if we wanted to just finalize something today for them to know these are our requirements, and if you're willing to do that, send us a contract for us to review. Then you want to decide what attorney you're going to use.
Here's the original contract that they sent, walking through.
same thing. Same thing.
Same
She got one, did she get
Yeah,
one?
she's got.
Okay.
So what are y'all thinking?
Well, can we make a decision today, not knowing about the megawatt or the tax?
Well, unless we.
Can we do it on the megawatt?
Yeah, I doubt it, but, I mean.
I
This
think
one
there's
says
a,
megawatts. This one says megawatts. It's based on megawatts.
Oh, you're talking about, oh, yeah.
Okay.
You're talking about based on the size. But,
No, this
no,
one,
she's talking about saying that it pays.
okay, I guess
well, I just flipped through it. Something like that. That's the default one.
That's on page 4, I think. Not the megawatt, about $615 per megawatt.
Page 4.
Equal to the fixed amount. Okay, equal to the fixed amount.
What I like about it is if they was to add on, or again, change out panels that were more efficient, then you're making more money.
Yeah.
But that $1,650 or $1,615 per megawatt
Mhm.
appears to be with about a 70% abatement.
And we could change the amount per megawatt, if that's what that is, to a lesser abatement. I'll tell you what, we could do, we could look at the value, see what the taxes are gonna be, and then back into what we wanna pay per kilowatt
Yeah.
to come up with the same amount.
Yeah.
And then if they change them out later, we get the benefit of that too.
Well, they quit and go home.
$1,600 per megawatt would be about like 20%.
What's that?
$1,600 per megawatt would be roughly a 20% rate or like whatever you call it, basically $10 million. At 500 megawatts a year.
We talked
500
about the
megawatts a year is $1,600.
Okay. Anything else? Is that what we want to do? We want to make that just a little schedule? It says this, and say this is what we'll agree to, and if you want to send us one with this, or that would start the negotiations.
We'll send it to that attorney over and have our own agreement, where they sign our agreement, we're not getting one from them, let them sign our agreement.
Unless we then, well, if we negotiated and changed on one, they can change our. Okay. Let me know who, we'll wrap this little thing up and then see what else they want to know. Anything else on that? All right, communications. I believe we need to talk to Teague and work them. I'm certainly willing to go talk to them. I don't know if Leonard, or who
He's there.
would like to, go with us to visit with, who wants to go and talk to Teague and work them and see if we are going to actually have them join in with our dispatch communication system.
I can't believe, as well as I know our mayor Markham, that if she was invited, that she would not have been here. She is she's been in this courthouse recently, and I'm not sure, but I'm just speaking of what I know about her.
Maybe they didn't get the word to her. We called Wortham and, would you ask Beth to come in?
Yes.
If you don't mind.
I can call the mayor.
We invited them also to the meeting before this, when all of the officers came. I didn't call them, Beth called them. And said they would call us back. I don't know if they ever called back. Who did you talk to in Wortham about coming to the meeting?
I've talked to Casey, and I talked to the other assistant, or maybe the secretary, maybe secretary of Casey's the assistant or something like that. But I talked to Lori, is her name Lori or Laura or something? I talked to her first, and when I called back, I talked to Casey.
I'll call that.
Casey Wright. And she told me that she thought there was a councilman coming, and she was gonna call because if there was more than 3 councilmen, she had to post an agenda, and she would call, let me know if she had to do that. But I was under the impression there was some coming, but
Does
I'm
not know who. Yeah.
yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
The mayor said she was not told when or where or nothing. So that's the mayor, Pelly is the
Yes.
mayor.
Well, and
Well, we can't ever hardly get anybody, you know.
you can't get to anybody, especially Tig. Tig, you can get anybody.
Tig, you can't get anybody down here in front of.
No, but Wortham answers the phone, and I talked to Clyde, is it Laura or Lori? Lori, I talked to her, told her when it was, and then I called back Monday, Friday or Monday, and talked to Casey.
Just talked to the mayor, and she didn't know.
Well, she needs to call her, you know.
Well, maybe we need to call the mayor instead of call City Hall.
Well,
Do we not know the mayor's name?
yes, we do. Now she knows, and we'll go talk to her. Would you like to go? All right, if you'll talk to her.
Tell me when you want her to be here.
You want me to go?
I mean, you want her, we're ready to court. Tell her to come to court.
However you want to handle it, it'd be perfect.
It's up to y'all.
Does the mayor have a separate office?
Yeah, she has, yeah, I mean, the mayor doesn't have an office in Wortham. The mayor in Wortham doesn't set their
Anything else?
office.
I understand, but I'm not from.
I got her, so I'll get her here, just tell me when y'all want her.
Okay. Any comments? Any comments from Commissioner Court, committee members?
Motion to adjourn.
Thank you.
There's a whole lot of activity going on.